The Dodgers are in the middle of another one of their hot stretches. They beat Miami Wednesday for their 7th straight win. The Dodgers are 14-2 in their last 16 games. They lead San Diego by 6.5 in the NL West. In this 16-game stretch, the Dodgers have outscored their opponents 100-31. The pitching staff has a 1.74 earned run average. The Dodgers certainly have earned a day off today. They start a 6-game road trip Friday night in San Diego. The Angels took 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh. They're back on Friday night against Kansas City to kick off a 7-game homestand. Denver Nuggets center Nikola Jokic was voted NBA MVP for the 3rd time in 4 years. Jokic joins a very impressive list of NBA players who have won at least 3 MVP awards: Kareem, Magic, LeBron, Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, Larry Bird, and Moses Malone. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California, home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm of Iteris, for the 2nd consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@KBLA1580.com. That's advertising@KBLA1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got your black.
Hi, Monster on the beat. B4, big rap. He a free throw, man down, all the ember lamps. Tell him please, bro. Nella to the cross, he walk around like Pizzo. What's up with these Draconi? Trying to see Compton, the industry can hitting. Marlins and Mama, how many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body, I'm John Stockton. Beat your hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with him. Walking down whole time, I know he got some pull on him. Extort, money that flow on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. See any that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chubb's the only one that get your hand-me-downs. And party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baka got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boy, certified pedophiles. Wop, 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 wop. That come up. Wop, 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 wop. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a, ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
KBLA Talk 1580. West Side.
They not like us.
What?
They not like us. They not like
800-920-1580.
They not like us. They not like us.
That's hard to me. Okay, 800-920-1580. It's the perfect time to call me. The phones are wide open. I've been hearing seeing so much commentary about this this ongoing rap battle. And I don't claim to be an expert. I saw somebody, Miles, on Instagram saying they were mad because all these so supposedly washed up rappers are taking this as their win. Why not? I mean, to me, hip hop is built on other hip hop.
Washed up rappers.
Yeah, some of our West Coast elders, OGs, have been commenting on and obviously taking Kendrick's side because hey,
West up right now, man.
Yeah, all that.
So who are these people knocking the OGs for taking the win? East Coast people?
Huh?
East Coast people saying that? Down South people saying that? What you saying?
Yeah, Hollywood people, maybe.
Okay.
West Side people that are out of touch. I don't know. To me, it's dumb because, without a Snoop, is there a Kendrick? I mean, it's a sequence.
Continuum out here.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's a continuum. You can't have one without the other. So it is their win.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's why I don't get people that are saying that. I've seen a similar things as well. Like, this may be a little win for Kendrick, but don't gas it up for the West Coast. I'm like, no, this is a West Coast win, man. If your team wins in your state, you rep that team championship for a whole year. Like, what are you saying?
You got to tell me, well, you don't play for the 49ers. You know what?
I'm going to make sure this Kendrick chart, though. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, well, and apparently it is. I mean, you were saying yesterday that move he made of, allowing people to monetize it without copyright striking on some of the platforms is even pushing it further up.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because all the social media streams and TikToks and all that is counts now. So yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I didn't like that, and I actually got a kick out of watching, people doing their little dances, people doing their little walks and stuff and moves, celebrating. If you are not from California or from the West Coast, you might not understand the spirit of it. That's just fun. That's just people, celebrating. And we don't get, like you said, a lot of times on the West we don't get kind of the credit or even the understanding.
Respect is the word I'd use.
Yeah, respect. Yeah, but understanding too. I remember when a certain East Coast radio mogul bought a station that I used to work on. And there was it was respect, Miles. There was no respect for what we do, and there was no understanding, and as a result, they lost that station. But we were trying to tell them, this is L.A. You might not think we're special, but we do. And there is a culture, whether you understand it or not, just like East Coast has a culture. I love, I'm a progressive patriot. I love the whole country. I've been to a lot of it. But there's nothing like, the West Coast.
Speaking of district records, you want to say their name?
Do I want to say whose name?
The East Coast guy you talking about? It's West here for Lynn,
you trying to get me to be like Taylor Swift and start dropping my own district?
They're not like us. They're not like us.
They're not like us. So that is actually true, and I think we're very underrated. And I also think it's extremely hypocritical because most of those people from the East Coast that are stars or mini stars, they have a house in Hollywood or an apartment or a condo somewhere, on the beach. Everyone's from Los Angeles. I mean, they're not from Los Angeles, but everyone lives here, even if they live somewhere else. I'm constantly reading something in the paper. So-and-so was at a party at Rihanna's house. Wait, how were you at a party? Is she, so-and-so was at a party at, and people that are supposed to be from Philly, New York, whatever. So y'all know LA is, y'all know the West Coast is nice. Stop playing. Stop playing. You talking about the East Coast radio mogul? That would be Kathy Hughes.
Oh, she did it. Y'all.
They're not like us.
They're not like us.
800-920-1580. If you got something to say, oh my, there's so much going on in the world right now. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about all of it. Biden's now saying that if Israel does a mass invasion of Rafah, which is obviously in Gaza, that he will hold back on weaponry, stop sending weaponry to Israel, or not all weaponry, but I guess they'll keep sending the defensive stuff for the Iron Dome and stuff, but they're going to stop sending the bombs and such. And that is a huge step. That's a huge change in attitude. It might not be what you're looking for or I'm looking for, but it certainly represents a departure from anything we've ever seen from Biden, or actually in recent history, any administration. They're still having ceasefire talks in Cairo, and there is fighting going on in Rafah, but I guess it's around the outskirts. And what Biden is saying is that the population centers where everyone has already fled to cannot be attacked in a mass invasion. And Israel has those tanks on the border. This is a very, 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 very tense moment here. So we shall see where this leads and how far the Biden administration is willing to go. The USC faculty body voted to censure USC President Carol Folt and the provost, Andrew Guzman, because they say they have mishandled the graduation, the commencement. They voted to censure the president. It's not legally binding, but it is a strong statement from the faculty there that we don't approve of the way you're dealing with these protests, these campus protests. And as we saw several faculty standing with the students there, that is powerful, and I would imagine a growing movement as people start to see, the really Gestapo tactics that these universities are using on students who are expressing their rights. Here in Los Angeles, the UCLA Police Department is saying that protesters had super glue and wire cutters, and that they felt, and some pamphlets, do-it-yourself occupation guide. This is according to the UCLA Police Department. They're claiming that these items prove the students plan to occupy a building there, and that they were going to be committing violence and vandalizing a building. And last time I checked, you cannot arrest someone for thinking about a crime, even if that is a crime. I wouldn't be surprised if students were going to occupy. I occupied a building a couple times when I was a student. We were protesting against apartheid. And occasionally protesters do break certain laws because those, protest is not meant to be convenient. It's meant to call attention and push the envelope so that we can make people really focus on the change that needs to happen. I think it's interesting that the UCLA police have put out this pretty widespread press release to smear the students, thereby justifying their own terrible behavior. I haven't seen anything that they've put out smearing the attackers who struck in the middle of the night under cover of darkness while students were sleeping in tents with weapons, who were masked, who beat these students and had quite a number of them, dozens, hospitalized. I haven't seen the department smearing those students. I see them smearing the peaceful protesters, saying they were thinking about or planning violence and vandalism. And it's so interesting because I'm looking at this article on ABC7, which is one of the sites that I like because they have a lot of good up-to-date local news, but they don't push back. There's no quote from the peaceful protesters. It's just basically, let's publish the UCLA police press release. That's not journalism. That's propaganda. We got to do better. All right, let's go to Fred calling us from the Crenshaw district. Hi, Fred.
Good morning, my sister Dominique. You're doing a great job holding down the station.
Thank you.
I was going to say, you're welcome. It's okay to protest, but it's bad when you tear up buildings and stuff. You hear some of the protesters want to straight paint the Trojan horse. You can't do stuff like that.
But actually, you can, Fred. I mean, I'm not saying they should spray paint the Trojan horse, but it's protest. It's not prom.
Oh, okay. I was just saying maybe some police might think that's a crime. All right, I got you on that. But the last poll showed that Joe Biden is 50 to 44%. But like I told a lot of my friends, we all got to get to the poll on November 5th. I don't want to see crackpot Trump up there, do you? I saw an article in the Epoch magazine yesterday where they predict by 2035 Social Security will be insolvent. I get Social Security every month, and what a mess that would be. I understand Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren got a plan lined up of what they want to do. So I guess we'll have to see how that pans out. I know you got a lot of calls lined up, so you take care. Happy Mother's Day this Sunday. So if I call next one, you can return the favor and wish me happy Father's Day. Take care.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, happy Mother's Day, one and all. I feel like Mother's Day snuck up on us this year, Fred. I was like, wait, what? It's Mother's Day already? I'm not sure which polling you're talking about. There's a lot of polls coming out right now. We talked about, the Washington Post one showing that fewer black folks plan to vote. That is bad news for the Biden administration. But, there's so many polls coming out right now, and it's always challenging to know which of them to believe. And we've got to, like you said, Fred, we've got to organize and get ourselves out to the poll no matter what these surveys are telling us. What I know is that these third-party candidates are impacting the race. We're seeing that in most of the polling. I thought it was great news that RFK, the faux Kennedy, is hurting Trump more than Biden. But apparently in Wisconsin, it's hurting Biden. So this is very, very confusing, and I just want us to not pay too much attention to the polls and track them, but act how you would act anyway. The one that I saw is the battleground state of Wisconsin, so that maybe is what you're talking about. It's Quinnipiac University, and they found that Biden was leading in Wisconsin with 50% of support, and Trump at 44. That's a survey of registered voters, and it's a 6% lead, which is pretty decent. But they found that when you throw in the other presidential candidates, RFK, Cornel West, and Jill Stein, his lead all but disappears there. So then it goes when you add in the third party candidates, then they are right at 50-50, 40% backing Biden, 39% backing Trump, and the other ones, the majority of them going for RFK. So at least in Wisconsin, it appears that this RFK, the good news about RFK hurting Trump is not holding in that particular battleground state. Jill Stein getting 4% and 1% for Cornel West. Fred called 800-920-1580, and you can do the same, 800-920-1580. Mike Johnson is still Speaker, last time I checked. We'll look at that and more when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Ooh, I'm so ready for this weekend away with my girl.
Hey, hit the road? How about some free gas?
Free gas? How?
Drop in Febreze car for some serious freshness, and you can win gas for a full year. Visit Febreze.com to learn more.
Say less.
You may not win, but you're going to have a fresh smelling whip.
Thanks, DJ Fresh. Now how about some music?
Hey, yo, this next one goes out to new Febreze car for giving you a chance to win free gas.
La, 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 la.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 to enter in 73124 for rules and how to enter. Visit Febreze.com.
Hi, it's Tavis Smiley. First, thank you for your support of KBLA Talk 1580. We deeply appreciate you. So, I get asked all the time, Tavis, when are you going to bring back that State of the Black Union symposium you used to do? You know the one where you had all those black intellectuals on stage every year and everybody watched all day live on C-SPAN? Yeah, I know the one.
Let's bring them back.
Well, I am pleased to tell you that if you go to KBLA1580.com right now, you can sign up to be in the audience here in Los Angeles when we go back live on C-SPAN with a stage full of black thinkers and influencers for a historic conversation. America has never seen a stage full of black folk talking about the urgency of now. Climate justice, climate equity, climate resilience. It's going down Tuesday, June 18th, 4 to 7 p.m. at the California Science Center in Exposition Park. Admission is free, but you must register at KBLA1580.com. Once we reach capacity, you'll have to watch us on C-SPAN. But if you want to be in the room when we go live from Los Angeles, Tuesday, June 18th, head to KBLA1580.com right now to reserve your seat. Caring about the climate, caring about the community. With KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your blast.
I'm a leave up there.
I'm going out with the girls this weekend. Nails done, outfit stunner, and my skin, I know it's going to be glowing because I glammed up my shower routine with new Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. It smells so luxurious and moisturizes deep into my skin with its super rich, creamy lather that's bursting with vitamin D3. So my skin glows and my confidence grows. Try new Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash for glowing skin in just 14 days.
Watch out! You got me!
The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
And you're welcome to call in 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Apparently, the Israeli government is angry, reacting defiantly is how the New York Times characterizes it, over President Biden's comments that the U.S. could hold back even more weapons. They slowed some shipments last week from Israel if they launch that ground incursion, that major assault they've been planning in southern Gaza where people are sheltering. And so this is, tension ramping up right now, even as we speak. Meanwhile, that humanitarian aid crossing has been shut down by the military operations of Israel in Rafah so far. Stormy Daniels back on the witness stand today in that Donald Trump campaign money interference trial. And they're attacking Stormy Daniels, trying to undermine her believability, right? Well, she's an adult film star, so what are you going to do? I mean, it'll be interesting to see whether this is impactful. If I'm a juror, I'm like, what are you going to do? Call her come on now. I think she's very credible, but it'll be what the jury thinks that matters. They're cross-examining Stormy Daniels, and of course, she is the woman that was paid to be quiet about her affair with Donald Trump, so she is definitely key in this. And remember, the judge has threatened to put the former president in jail if he keeps violating his gag order, which he seems to do just as much, as easily as breathing. And apparently everyone has been saying all along that this trial is the weakest case, and why did Alvin Bragg do it? It seems like this is the last case standing at this point. That can move prior to the election at least. Georgia courts have agreed to hear Trump's attorney's appeal that Fani Willis should be removed. That delays that case. Eileen Cannon, the Trump-appointed judge in Florida who's over the documents case, has delayed the documents case, giving him another get-out-of-jail-free card or stay out of jail because you could be president card. The courts have basically done everything but issue a, preemptory pardon, which that can happen because we're still waiting to see if the Supreme Court is going to rule that he has immunity. So the coddling of the criminal who is our former president, I guess I should say. I don't have to say alleged criminal. He's already been found liable for rape. He's already been fined for funny business around his reporting the valuations of his real estate for tax and loan purposes. Marilyn Mosby's facing 40 years for something less than that, much lesser charges. But Trump gets the slow walk from the Supreme Court. Oh, yeah, we're going to decide whether we have immunity when we get around to it. This rookie judge who he appointed, basically shutting down the classified documents case. And now Georgia showing its red state tendencies. I mean, still a red state, even if they got some blue senators, by giving him another chance at disqualifying Fani Willis, which is a long shot to begin with, because even though you might think that what she did is ill-advised, it goes in the category of poor decisions, it doesn't directly impact the case. It's not the type of conflict of interest that should be any threat to the case. Whether or not you're sleeping with a man on your team really doesn't directly impact whether or not you are going after the accused in this case. But they've given this man another path. So Alvin Bragg's case shouldn't look so weak after all. One of my famous Dominique sayings is, the best workout is the one you'll do. The best workout is the one you'll do, whether it's rollerblading or, disco dancing in your pajamas. The best workout is the one you'll do. The strongest case is the one that gets the job done. The strongest case is the one that gets across the finish line. And we can sit here and pontificate about how it's legally not as good as other cases, and I know there's some trepidation that if Trump is found not guilty in the Stormy Daniels situation, his supporters will use that to say all the rest of the cases are witch hunts. But guess what? They're saying it anyway. And at least we're going through testimony. He's in criminal court. He's facing some actual accountability for his behavior, something that has been eluding us in these supposedly stronger cases ever since the man took office. What happened to Trump University? What happened to emoluments? I mean, he's been eluding any kind of accountability or liability for his actions since 2015, certainly 2016. So, New York, New York. That's what I got to say about that. 800-920-1580. News, traffic, and sports, and then your phone calls on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Now here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Stephen Munchin says he's still interested in buying TikTok. The former Treasury Secretary under Donald Trump told Bloomberg Television he's spoken to several tech companies about how to rebuild the app. President Biden recently signed a law requiring the Chinese company ByteDance to sell TikTok or have the app banned in the U.S. Georgia's appeals court will consider former President Donald Trump's appeal of a decision to not remove the district attorney from his election interference case in that state. In March, a judge ruled Fulton County DA African-American Fani Willis could remain on the case if Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade was removed from that case. Trump had tried to have Willis disqualified over a romantic relationship with Wade. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Hey, DQ fans, cool off with their new Summer Blizzard treat menu. Try new Picnic Peach Cobbler or snag a perfect beach treat like their new Peanut Butter Cookie Dough Party. The new Summer Blizzard treat menu is one you won't want to miss. Only at participating DQ locations. Happy tastes good.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers are in the middle of another one of their hot stretches. They beat Miami Wednesday for their 7th straight win. The Dodgers are 14-2 in their last 16 games. They lead San Diego by 6.5 in the NL West. In this 16-game stretch, the Dodgers have outscored their opponents 100-31. The pitching staff has a 1.74 earned run average. The Dodgers certainly have earned a day off today. They start a 6-game road trip Friday night in San Diego. The Angels took 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh. They're back on Friday night against Kansas City to kick off a 7-game homestand. Denver Nuggets center Nikola Jokic was voted NBA MVP for the 3rd time in 4 years. Jokic joins a very impressive list of NBA players who have won at least 3 MVP awards: Kareem, Magic, LeBron, Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, Larry Bird, and Moses Malone. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Linking social justice and climate justice all year long. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
We used to argue about whose turn it was to clean the gutters, but then I had Leaf Filter gutter protection installed.
Wait, I told you Leaf Filter had free inspections and estimates and a lifetime guarantee.
Meaning we never have to argue about whose turn it is to clean the gutters again.
But I visited leaffilter.com/beacon first.
No, I did.
It doesn't matter who. Visit leaffilter.com/beacon to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and Clear Skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol. When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
One of the things I don't understand is why the Biden administration isn't talking more about their reclassification of cannabis. It's being drowned out by other things. Obviously, people are getting murdered and slaughtered in Gaza, and our government system seems to be disintegrating before our eyes. Nevertheless, this is a policy goal which disproportionately will continue to impact black people, people of color. It is an issue that's been important to youth voters, all the folks he is struggling with. And I've heard people specifically say, if Biden would just do one thing that really showed, and one of the things they often point to is reclassifying cannabis so that it's no longer in the same category as heroin, and it goes into the category that would contain like Tylenol. That's what they have committed to, and I think it's a big, huge win that is not really getting a lot of talk. So Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, with its teeny tiny little Republican majority, keeps his job. Marjorie Taylor Greene went after him, trying to get him ousted, and Dems stepped in and helped him survive. And I'm going to say that's because, he kept the government open, passed that aid that Dems really wanted for Israel, Ukraine, and Asia. So they kept him. They left him in his job, and he's probably going to be there now because that was, the most immediate danger. I mean, we'll see. Republicans are pretty unpredictable these days, but I thought it was hilarious that she got up there when the vast majority of her own party is voting against her and calls it the Uniparty, which is, sort of, I don't know if I want to call it MAGA. I guess it is MAGA. It's conservative right-wing speech to say that Republicans and Dems are all the same, and, in some respects, that is true when you talk about the corporate class, but it's her version of, it was rigged. Yeah, no, you were out of touch, and your ears were above your head, and you lost. So, the thing about it is it's not a huge thing to be celebrating, right? Oh, yay, we got this far right-wing nut job, gets to keep his job. But that's where we're at. I mean, after they ousted Kevin McCarthy, that's where we are. The Democratic Party trying to prop up a terrible House Speaker just so we could have a House Speaker and have some semi-functioning government, because Johnson has shown his willingness to work with Democrats to at least pass bare-bones legislation. They're still not what we would call prolific as far as getting things done, getting anything done to keep our country moving in a positive direction. We're talking about this in the chat, and I think it's interesting because I continue to be so just dismayed by the way these campuses are dealing with the students, what it says about our democracy. I did hear Biden say, well, they have a right to protest, but they can't stop people from going to class, and it has to be this and it has to be that. And, Fred, I wasn't saying, okay, spray up the Trojan horse and go wild, but they are protests, right? And sometimes protests are loud, and sometimes they cross boundaries because guess what? They're protests. They're meant to draw attention. They're meant to force you to deal with the issue. And the issue isn't the students. The issue is the war. These are basically anti-war protesters. These are young people, children and young people that are marching in support of the divestment, meaning the universities stop investing in things that support the war in Israel, and they want the government to stop investing our weaponry, which is more or less what Biden said yesterday, I guess, when he said that if the full-scale invasion of Rafah goes forward, he'll pull back some weaponry. This after saying, the students I'm not listening to them at all. Anyway, Xavier University in Louisiana had invited Linda Thomas Greenfield, the U.S. ambassador to the UN, as a commencement speaker. To me, that's playing in the students' faces. I mean, that's really playing in their faces. If you're tracking this, Thomas Greenfield, who is black, is the one who keeps shutting down, has repeatedly shut down ceasefire votes in the UN. And you want to invite her as a commencement speaker? That is, I mean, you say that you want to de-escalate. You say that you want to listen to the students' concerns. Well, some say, most campuses have just gone straight to arrest, suspend, trumped up charges, academic punitive measures, all bad, not a teachable moment at all, but let us try to marginalize you, push you out of school, expel you, make you fail, give you a criminal record. That's what most of them are doing. But to me, if you're going to invite the UN ambassador, the U.S. ambassador to the UN, who has repeatedly vetoed ceasefire resolutions that otherwise would have passed. But since the U.S. is a big dog at the UN, we can shut it down. And then you want to invite her to be the commencement speaker? Quit playing. You really need to stop that. So now they've gone ahead and canceled it. Yeah, because, duh. You know, I can't remember which campus, because so many campuses have encampments going on right now that I think it might have been Humboldt, where they set up an encampment at the graduation, an encampment meant to go on the stage and all throughout. And you know what? I just told Fred, we can't control how people decide that they want to express their protest. Obviously, you don't want people harming others, but, you know, inconvenience, that's part of it. But I don't agree with stopping other young people from graduating. Why not just put a sign there? Why not have an encampment? Why not call attention? Or perhaps have the graduates that are part of this protest movement, you know, wear stuff in solidarity. You know, college graduation is something people do one time in their life, maybe two if you get a master's or whatever, but your undergraduate commencement, you know, that's a big deal. I don't think it's nice or fair to force others to not have theirs, but I don't say you shouldn't protest there. I don't say you should be shut down because of that. Let's go to Tom calling us from Irvine. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. Yeah, Trump is scared of going to jail. And, I mean, can you imagine with that stupid hair and orange makeup not being able to control that? He's stuck in a jail cell.
Oh, wow.
Somebody got a picture of it.
Yeah, that would be scary. That would be, I mean, because we think he looks crazy now, but, right, imagine him without the makeup and hair, without the glam squad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ooh, you're scaring me, Tom. It's not Halloween. Why are you calling up here?
Sorry about that. Also, you notice that picture of him and Stormy Daniels, that the most common one with him with the red hat and next to her in that picture.
Right, where he's holding her.
In the background is it was at a porn event. In the background, you could see the Wicked logo. There's a background. So, you know, I don't get how these Trump supporters who call themselves Christians, you know, I mean, I guess it's just more hypocrisy.
Well, yeah, I mean, I read that it was a golf tournament that was partly sponsored by a porn company. And
okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's I mean, right. I mean, and that doesn't discredit your point. It's actually, if I'm why am I going to a golf tournament sponsored by a porn company? You know, if I'm truly conservative and family values like he incredibly claims to be.
Well, yeah, I mean, we know he's a hypocrite, but it's the supporters that, you know, they're the ones that are, you know, the decision makers. I don't know. It just drives me nuts.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting point. I do think we know that if Trump were to go to jail, which he seems to be edging closer to doing, because even this very patient, calm, and experienced judge is starting to get irritated and, with how far he's pushing the envelope, not just with, the gag order, but now with witness intimidation. He may end up having to give him some jail time. But he's going to go in solitary, Tom. He's not going to be out with the general population. And he will have the Secret Service. But to your point, I don't know that any of those Secret Service people are hair and makeup artists.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And then also, he doesn't want to go to jail, but if he does end up going to jail, he'll spin it and he'll do what he does. Like, oh, yeah, make himself a martyr and to try and fire up his base.
He'll fundraise off
it's just,
for sure.
And we got to stop being afraid of holding him accountable. Just do the right thing and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. I mean, are you discouraged by the way the Supreme Court and this, and this other judge down in Florida and even Georgia, are giving him break after break after break and letting him slow walk these cases into infinity?
Absolutely, but I'm not surprised. Discouraged, but not surprised. And, that's just the way it's going to be until, we can replace these justices and, get more level-headed judges, in the pipeline. And
which Biden is working on, by the way. I mean, I know he's appointed more than 200 so far, and those are the things that we don't pay as much attention to, but I know that Joe Biden is quietly and steadily adding some judges that aren't total, nutcases and or political operatives and or completely unqualified to counterbalance all of those that the 45th president put in place.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. And, just keep moving forward. I think we're in the middle of a silent civil war right now. It's more like a cyber civil war.
Yep.
And I think it started on January 6th, 2021. And I think it's coming to an end. It's going to, we're still fighting back, but I think we're slowly overcoming it.
Yeah. I like that analysis. I mean, I like the slowly overcoming it. We don't hear that part so much. I think you're right. That kind of tracks with my erosion around the edges of the Trump support. Not the core, not the America First, QAnon, MJT folks, but the ones around the edges and the slow, silent vanquishing of this sort of troll army I think it is in process, and I can see a tiny light at the end of the tunnel, Tom.
Yeah, it's like the old Confederacy. You had the old diehards. They never went away,
right.
But eventually they lost.
Yeah.
And even after they lost, they were still
flying their flags.
They were. Yes, exactly.
But now we're stamping that out too. Right? When you say slowly they lost, We're still working on that. But yeah, great points, Tom. Appreciate the call.
Sure.
800-920-1580. You can do what Tom did. You can speak out and speak your mind. Yeah, we celebrate free speech and democracy around here. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
It's time to upgrade your wellness. Experience Unboxed Wellness Your Way, presented by Health Matters Clinic, to unlock access to tools, tips, and local resources designed to empower you. Whether you're drawn to an energizing hip-hop yoga session or eager to boost your business or personal financial well-being, Unboxed has something tailored just for you. Get your tickets to join us on Friday, May 31st, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. by visiting www.healthmatters.clinic. Free event sponsored by Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. Visit jpmorganchase.com/racial equity and get the tools to help reach your financial goals.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me.
Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number and put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement. Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
City of Los Angeles tenants, verify your Emergency Renters Assistance Program status today if you applied for the program. Tenants approved for rental assistance are protected from eviction for non-payment of rent through May 31st, 2024. And it's illegal under law for landlords to refuse rental assistance to you based on your source of income. Refusing assistance can be used as an affirmative defense in an eviction case. So check your application status now at housing.lacity.org. That's housing.lacity.org. Be informed, be protected, be at home.
A word from Original Taco Pete, where Tuesdays are all about $2 tasty black tacos. Join us today and every day at 3272 West Slauson Ave off Crenshaw, or order through Grubhub, Uber Eats, or OriginalTacoPete.com.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
You belong here, and we're glad you are here. 800-920-1580, that's the number if you want to call. Getting some of the headlines that are going on around the nation, and love to hear your thoughts on them. Interesting that the Trump team was admonished, in New York, admonished by the judge, because he says that the witness intimidation includes Stormy Daniels. The former president was cussing and what they call inappropriately gesturing in court. You cannot do that. I mean, you don't have to be a lawyer to know that, but they're counting that as possible witness intimidation, and the jury can see it, and so that is why we were saying he has a much stronger chance of possibly doing it in night in jail. Paul from LA, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. How are you doing today?
I'm blessed. Good to hear your voice. How are you?
Great. I just wanted to hop in the conversation that we were discussing. And just overall, and this is why I really rock with you and appreciate you, is because you're focusing on something that's really overlooked. And I'm going to pound on this a lot. When we're focusing on legislative, sometimes we're overlooking the judicial branch. And a lot of the things that are transpiring now with these, I would say these far-right Confederates, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I like the previous caller where I agree with them when they were saying that they're essentially, like, you want to say, they're looking at it as a civil war in their eyes. And how do we take things back prior to the Civil Rights Act? Because in my opinion, they're eyeing that also.
Yeah.
They want to reverse that. And why it matters, the President of the United States in electing the President matters is because, once again, something you pointed to is the judicial branch in nomination for judges, not just with the Supreme Court. If we don't understand from the mistake that happened in 2016 with Donald Trump and those 3 Supreme Court justices that were nominated that unbalanced the court, that has led to the right of a woman controlling her body. We'll start off with that, and now we're talking about going backwards in some instances where they look at integration as a way of, no, that was our mistake. And if we're focusing on our community and what's best for us, that man was in office, and I bring this up. I don't want to harp on this. Our chief and commander matters when we deal with pandemics or things that just pop out anywhere. And over 1 million people, between 1 million to 1.5 million Americans died. And when you heard his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, say, well, they weren't really tripping it at first because the primary deaths were occurring in blue states.
Yep.
You're supposed to be the people in office for the United States. And instead of that, what they looked at is their pockets. And a lot of times people wonder why these people are backing him. It's because no matter what, at the end of the day, they care about control and power. And also, from Biden's administration, I'm focused directly on Joe Biden, over 15 million jobs came back to our economy. We're far ahead of the other 7 developed nations in the world right now. Black unemployment is at the lowest percentage that it has been. Unemployment has been under 4% for over 27 months for the first time in my lifetime. So if we're talking about directly what impacts us, like you were talking about judges, they just announced some more judges. That's over 240 judges in this administration. That's a reflection of the country, which is diverse. The previous administration only focused on appointing judges based on their ideology and their beliefs, and that's why you have a lot of these federal judges making decisions that doesn't make sense. No, they're executing a game plan.
Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right. You look at, the way they court shopped for the morning after pill. They went straight to this inexperienced judge appointed by Trump in Texas. And that is exactly what it is, executing an agenda.
Yes, and just for your pocketbooks, everybody, the reason they're really backing them is those tax cuts. They want to permanently extend them. And there was an AmericanProgress.org. You can search this source also. That's already done the math on this. Remember, in his 4 years, he ran up $8 trillion of debt within that time frame. It really being backed by those tax cuts and policies that were really Paul Ryan's, but, he got credit for it. And what happens if the upper class and the rich corporations aren't paying taxes? Who do you think the tax burden goes on? The working class, which in turn increases the wealth gap. It impacts affordability for everyday working people. So if you're not paying attention to this, they want this guy back in office to extend and permanently extend those tax cuts and also to get more of their judges in, because Alito and Roberts are in their mid-70s. They're trying to replace them with not experience, but 2 other wackos that are going to help them execute their plan.
Yeah, I think that's right. Paul, as usual, you're on point. Great to hear from you. We're going to talk Amir Locke when we come forward. We'll be speaking with his mom. We'll be saying his name, and we'll be seeing what we can do about justice for Amir Locke. That's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Thanks for joining with the attorney from his election interference case in that state. In March, a judge ruled Fulton County DA African-American Fonnie Willis could remain on the case if Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade was removed from that case. Trump had tried to have Willis disqualified over a romantic relationship with Wade. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Hey, DQ fans, cool off with their new Summer Blizzard treat menu. Try new Picnic Peach Cobbler or snag a perfect beach treat like their new Peanut Butter Cookie Dough Party. The new Summer Blizzard treat menu is one you won't want to miss, only at participating DQ locations. Happy tastes good.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man. The Dodgers are in the middle of another one of their hot stretches. They beat Miami Wednesday for their 7th straight win. The Dodgers are 14-2 in their last 16 games. They beat San Diego by 6.5 in the NL West. In this 16-game stretch, the Dodgers have outscored their opponents 100-31. The pitching staff has a 1.74 earned run average. The Dodgers certainly have earned a day off today. They start a 6-game road trip Friday night in San Diego. The Angels took 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh. They're back on Friday night against Kansas City to kick off a 7-game homestand. Denver Nuggets center Nikola Jokic was voted NBA MVP for the 3rd time in 4 years. Jokic joins a very impressive list of NBA players who have won at least 3 MVP awards: Kareem, Magic, LeBron, Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, Larry Bird, and Moses Malone. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California, home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm of Iteris, for the 2nd consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@KBLA1580.com. That's advertising@KBLA1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got you black.